All right, guys, welcome back to another episode of Colton Posey Fishing, and today we're going to talk about everything top water, the setups, the baits, so on and so forth. What I do to them, little tweaks. You never know, so stay tuned. This is something you don't want to miss. Talk about everything top water, what I use, my setup, so on and so forth. So, first off, I want to start with this. I've heard it several times in my life, and I can't believe I'm saying this, but there is some people that believe there is a season for top water. I don't know why. There's a lot of people that believe there's a season for top water. And if you're one of them people, don't feel bad. Don't get discouraged or nothing like that. You might just not have luck catching fish off top water during whatever time of year that you think the seasons work like that. But I'm here to tell you guys you can catch fish off top water in 40-degree water temps, and you can catch them off top water in 90-degree water temps. It really doesn't matter. It just depends on the attitude of the fish. So, to start off, let's start with my setup for the first set of baits. So this is a 6'9" medium ducket green ghost, and I like the medium. One of the biggest things about the medium is it's got that tip, this flexible stuff like that. That way I can work my baits properly, but I always want to throw monofilament with my top water baits. Monofilament floats. Using fluorocarbon line, I'm not saying you're not going to catch fish off of using fluorocarbon line with your top water baits, but it does give it a different action, and most of the time it is not a good action in my experience. So I use 15-pound. I like Trilene extra tough, the blue label. I got it somewhere. I'm not going to pull it out, but the 15-pound monofilament is great. It's easy to control, and guys, I've tried this, and I just had to try it. Everybody was telling me to get one. It's cheap and it's great. It's the Abu Garcia Black Max. It's like 30-40 bucks at Walmart. It's a cheap reel. I absolutely love this thing. It's one of the cheaper reels I've ever owned, and it does everything I need it to do. It's a 6:4 to 1 gear ratio. It's kind of slow, but it's got a lot of power behind it. Drag system works great. The castability is great. I mean, I can't, 30-40 bucks. Any of my reels ever mess up, that's what I'm going to, is a Black Max. It's an awesome reel. But anyway, so that's my setup. That's what I like to use for my top waters. The top water lures that I like to use, we'll start off with the pencil poppers. Okay, so this is a pencil popper. This is a I can't remember what company makes this, but they sent me several of these. They work pretty well, but Berkeley makes a real good one. This is a pencil popper, and basically what this does, this bait walks and pops at the same time, just like a hula popper, but it's got that spook action. This is a very good bait. It doesn't really matter what time of year it is, but I usually use this on those calmer days when I can work this a little bit slower, and it kind of has that bloop, 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 just like that. That's typically when I use these. Now, another one that is a well-known top water lure. Everybody talks about them. They do catch fish. They're a little overpriced in my opinion, but they do catch fish. This is a whopper plopper. In my opinion, somebody got smart and said, okay, I like this buzz bait, but let's make it like this where it just floats when it's sitting there. And then voila, you got the whopper plopper. So you got a really expensive buzz bait, and it works very, very well. Don't know why. I guess it just irritates the fish, but you got a rattling and a silent one. 90% of the time I'm throwing the silent one because I feel like a lot of people throw the ones with the rattles and they get accustomed to hearing that noise. But a whopper plopper is a great choice to cover a lot of water really fast and catch, several fish that are active that morning, evening, middle of the day. It doesn't really matter. Now, my absolute favorite top water lure to use is the old Spook. This is the Strike King Sexy Dog. If you can't tell, it's got a few battle scars on both sides. But this is, it's got the chrome finish. I throw this a lot to mimic the blueback heron just because of that chrome finish. Typically, I throw the chrome colors and stuff like that when the water's clear. You got those real bright sunny days. They can see this from a long ways, and I throw this I make a very long cast with these, and then I'm working it across points or wherever the fish may be schooling. And on those bright sunny days in that clear water, they can see the silver flash from this very far away. Now, one of the things that I always do, I put a feather hook on just about every one of my top water baits, and the reason for that is later on in the year. When I say later on in the year, I'm talking basically summer. Once the shad are spawned and stuff like that, the bait fish that they're eating is going to be really small. These feather hooks mimic those smaller bait fish very well. You'll get a lot more bites and connect with a lot more fish just because of that feather hook. I can't tell you how many times I've hung up a fish. Well, right there, I've got a scale on it right there. I don't think y'all can see it, but there's a scale on it right there, and they just connect with that feather hook just about every time. So the feather hooks that I use, I like the Berkeley Fusion feather hook. That's the only Fusion hooks that I use. I use the ones with the feathers just because I like the way they're made. I like the way they look in the water. They look just like a small bait fish going through the water. So I'll throw the chrome and stuff in those clear water situations, those bright sunny days. Another one, let's say you're in clear water or a little bit stained water and it's kind of cloudy. I like throwing the white Xeraspook. The white ones, I believe it puts off a different contrast in the water, and they can just see it a lot better on those cloudy days. And I work this the same way. If I'm fishing for spotted bass, I'm working at 90 miles an hour. I'm never stopping it. It's wide open all the way to the boat. If they want it, they're going to get it. If they don't, then I'm going to make another cast because they're going to try to eat it again. Largemouth, 90% of the time I'm working it kind of slow. I'm kind of but spotted bass, wide open, smallmouth, wide open. They have a really aggressive attitude. So let me give you another scenario. Let's say that you've fished places that a lot of people's hit. So they've caught them a lot off of these spooks, and they're eating the really small bait fish. They've really got honed in on it. They really got honed in on the color, the look, the whole 9 yards. I like using, this is a nude spook. So it's basically clear, and it just puts off action in the water, and the only thing they're targeting is that feather tail. You're going to catch 90% of your fish off the back of this bait. Last year, just about every fish that I caught after probably about April come off of that bait. It was just wide open. I don't even know if y'all can see it, but it's all beat up and cracked, and I mean everything else. It's a very good bait to mimic those bait fish. So another one that I like to use to mimic bait fish in those clear water situations is this is a Rapala subsurface walker. This thing just goes right below the surface. This thing right here mimics blueback heron very well with that chrome. So this is one that I absolutely adore. I've caught tons of fish off of it. During the post spawn when I was a kid, I fished it around with ponds all the time. A heading torpedo. This is just an old school torpedo. It's a prop bait. So basically I throw it out there, it floats, I just twitch it, and that little propeller just spins and makes a little sound. It kind of sounds like a brim smacking the water. If you ever hear them come up, you know, sounds just like that. It's a very good way to work around brim beds and stuff like that when the fish stay up shallow and they're eating off the brim. So another one that's old school that I learned to fish in ponds that I absolutely love, it's the old school hula popper. Okay, so the old school hula popper, this is actually an Excalibur. They don't make these anymore. This is basically the Zell Rolling style. This is a Booyah popper. A lot of people don't know that. Booyah actually bought out Excalibur. So most of the stuff that Booyah makes as far as the hard baits, they're Excalibur baits. They're pretty much the same thing. Now, there's a lot of Excalibur baits that Booyah took off the market. They didn't continue making, which sucks because there was a lot of good Excalibur lures. I used them a lot. But the Excalibur hula popper, they're really good. The Booyah hula poppers, they're really good. The Strike King spit and shad. I think that's what Strike King calls them. They're really, really good hula poppers. I really enjoy them. So now we're going to talk about the heavy duty stuff, the buzz baits. I mean, everybody loves throwing buzz baits. The ones that I throw a 7-foot medium heavy Duckett Green Ghost. This is a Daiwa CC80, 8-to-1 gear ratio. So, and I'm throwing it on fluorocarbon. Now I throw it on 15-pound fluorocarbon. The reason is my buzz bait is never actually sitting on the water, so my line doesn't have time to sink and pull the weight of that bait down. So with it not pulling the weight of that bait down, it's not going to affect anything with it. So the fluorocarbon makes it a little bit more stealthy. Now I'm fishing with braid and stuff. If I get up in those areas that, you know, it's got tons of cover and I want to get that fish out really quick, stuff like that. But 90% of the time when my buzz bait set up, I'm throwing 25-pound fluorocarbon. I prefer Seaguar, whatever you prefer to use, Sunline, whatever. Everybody's got their own personal preference. Chevy, Ford, Toyota, whatever you prefer to throw. But the buzz baits that I like to throw, I like the Booyah buzz baits. Now, one of the things that I do to my buzz baits, I actually cut the clackers off of them just because everybody has clackers on it. It gives it a sound that they're so used to hearing. I take the clackers off, and the skirts, and I typically put a swim bait or, you know, something similar to that, a frog, anything like that, and work it. So, guys, that's my setups for my top waters. That's all I throw on top waters. That's basically how I do it. I keep it very simple, catch a lot of fish, and don't listen to those people that say, hey, there's a season for top water, because that's not true. You'll catch them in 40-degree water. You'll catch them in 90-degree water on top of the water. But, you know, you just got to get out there and practice. Get confident with it. If you're not confident in it, you're not going to catch any fish. So, guys, that's my setup. Like always, if you feel like the information that I'm giving you is valuable, don't forget to hit that thumbs up button. Go down there and subscribe. I'd really appreciate it. We'll see you next time.